Well, hey there, and how are you today? My name is Carla. I'm an adult doll collector, and we're in my hangout. And today is, well, I guess this is just kind of a selfish video. They brought my mom home today, and it's just odd to know that everything that my mother had been could fit in the admittedly beautiful little box. It just doesn't seem possible, because, and I'm sure all of you who have lost someone probably has felt the same way. I'm in very good company, I know that. But it's just, there was so much to her. I mean, she was so full of life, and it's just impossible that all of that is in that little box. It's just, but I know this is how life goes. And I was lucky. I got to have her until I'm this age, I'm 58. I got to have my mother until I was 58. And so many people lose their mothers so much earlier. And I feel lost at this age, and I'm a grandmother, and I've, life experienced, I guess. How do people do it who lost their mothers earlier? Thank you to everyone who shared your stories with me. I appreciate that, and everyone who sent me messages. I took, for a few days, I just didn't feel like saying anything about anything, but I finally did. But it mattered a lot, and you wouldn't think that sharing pain with people that you haven't seen would make much of a difference, but in a way it was helpful, because I could just say what I needed to say, and I didn't have to be strong for anyone around me. I didn't have to worry about keeping it together for my kids or for my father. And I guess this is kind of that also, because upstairs I'm still together. For my father, I'm together. For the kids and grandkids, I'm together. But I'm going to do something here, and I'm going to invite all of you who have lost someone, if you would like to share in the comments below, maybe your own story about your lost loved one. If you want to, you don't have to, but if you'd like to, as my grandson, my mind's jumping everywhere. My oldest grandson didn't know her very well. And he was sad for us that we were sad, but he wasn't sure how he felt. And leave it to a kid, the teenager, to come up with something unexpectedly wise. And instead of trying to say, I'm sorry, Grandma, or it's sad, or anything like that, instead he sat down with me and he was like, tell me about her. Tell him about my mother. Make her real for him in a way that he hadn't gotten to know, when she, the last couple of years of her life, when she was having a hard time moving around and was kind of keeping apart from people and stuff. And that helped a lot. So, yeah, because you see, my mom was pretty fun. She was always ready for a laugh, always. Now, on the day she died, I kind of think she died the day before we found her. So every night, my mom and my dad, after dinner, they would go into their room, and I put a love seat in their room for them so they could sit on that love seat together, because heaven forbid they have separate chairs. They couldn't have like each their own recliner. No, they had to be sitting right together. It's just how they were. And so every night they would sit on that love seat and put on a movie, and my mom would lean her head on my dad's shoulder. And most of the time, I think pretty much every time, she would then fall asleep to whatever they had been watching. And, and then when it came time for bedtime, when my dad would kind of move to get up, she would wake up and then she'd go to bed. And she loved that. That was, sleeping on my dad's shoulder was one of her favorite places to be. And so that night, after they had dinner, they sat down and he put on a movie, and she put her head on his shoulder. She told him she was just going to take a short nap, like she said every night. And that was it. She didn't wake up. Now, my dad didn't know, though, so he got up and he thought she was just sleeping really sound, so he went to bed. And when he got up in the morning, though, I heard him make this yell, no, no, no. Now, you gotta understand, my mom, as fun as she was, she could also be a bit of a pip. And she had a way of trying to get my dad going in the morning faster than he was ready to. And so we heard him, and we thought, oh dear, it's starting. She must be wanting to get him out of bed before he's ready to get up. Okay, but then heard some more racket from his room. But again, my mom was like wicked skinny, and very frail, and she was always bumping into things and breaking something on herself. But I still kind of thought, we all thought she was going to be like immortal, just kind of always be there. I was prepared to have her here for the next, 20 years. I didn't know, and, but then my dad comes out, and he wasn't, he was still in his jamma top and everything, but he normally always gets dressed before coming out of the room, so that was different. And he was like, sis, I think you need to come in here. Something's wrong with your mom. So I thought, well, did she fall again? She fell yesterday. Don't tell me she fell again, Mom. I need to get that bubble wrap. I was promising to go and get some bubble wrap for real, Not that I was actually going to put it on her, but I was going to sure try to make the point that it might not be a bad idea. And I went through their door, though, and she was on the love seat. Looked like she always did when she had her head on his shoulder, but his shoulder wasn't there. She was still. She looked peaceful, though. She looked like she was asleep. Sound asleep. But her skin was yellow. And I knew when I looked at her. I knew what I was going to find when I got closer. However, of course I got closer because it's one of those times you really want to be wrong. Boy, I wanted to be wrong. So my dad's behind me, and he's like, Carol, wake up. Carla, can you make her wake up? And it's like, I reached out and touched her, and she was cold. And it's like, Dad, she's not waking up. She's gone, Dad. And I'm like, how? And I didn't know any other way of saying it. And how do I tell this man who's loved her since 1963 that his wife was gone? That she was, because she was younger than him. We thought she would outlive him. He thought she was going to outlive him. And then, of course, my dad, who has never shown much emotion for anything ever, he went even more, no. And then he was telling her, this isn't the way this is supposed to be. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. And asking her why she didn't tell him she was going. And I gotta say, and there's others of you who've been through this, you know what I'm talking about. When the other parent is processing the death of their spouse, hearing that pain was haunting, and I'm like, okay, wow, and I'm trying to get myself together. So I went out of the room. It's like, Dad, I've got to call 911. I've got to call, got to do something. And my daughter was out in the kitchen, which is right next to their room. And I came out of the room and I'm hearing him, and I know what I'm going to say, and not sure how do you say it out loud. And it's one of the times I was trying to get myself together. I was just trying to breathe, and I was stopping and just kind of, just give me time to breathe. Just everything, I want everything to just be still. Just everything around me, just stop. Give me time. Just give me a minute. I just need just a minute. And a couple minutes went by, and I'm still standing there with my eyes closed, and it's like, okay, obviously I needed more than a minute, and my daughter was, of course, she's like, is she really sick? And it's like, it's worse than that. And then she's like, now, my mom wasn't her natural grandmother, because, my daughter is more my stepdaughter, but she's a daughter of my heart. And but my mom had always, she'd watched her grow up, and whenever she needed a safe place to go to from her regular home, she would come to see my mom, because my mom told her whenever she needed to get away, she was welcome in her house. Anytime she wanted, as long as she wanted. She could just come by any time. And so she did that a lot. Whenever she needed to go and feel safe, she would go to see my mom. So my mom had been her safe place. My mom represented the first safe place she'd had. And so it was kind of killed her too. And so, of course, finally I was able to get on the phone, and you guys know how this goes, those of you who've had to make the phone call where, they're asking you, well, have you tried CPR? And it's like, and they're gone, and it's like they're gone, and it's like I'm not an expert, but sometimes, it's just plain. And so it's like, no, she's gone. There's no bringing her back, but, so, yeah. So, of course, when they came, and they didn't take very long, because we're in a small town, so the police officer who arrived first, and he had a lot of compassion, and he was trying to look after my dad then. And by that time, one of my sons knew, and so he was also kind of trying to help my dad, because he was tortured. He just broken. And so my dad's just sitting on that love seat beside her, shoulder back under her head, holding her hand, doing what I guess a lot of other people would have done, just trying to make a deal with her, honey, you weren't supposed to go. This wasn't supposed to be like this. Why didn't you tell me? And just, and then say no again. He said no a lot, trying to deny what was happening, of course. And then, of course, the paramedics came and they verified that, of course, yeah, she was gone, and she'd been gone a while, and that there was no way that I could have done anything to bring her back, because she was, gone. I knew that, but it still helped to have them say it. I guess because otherwise, in the future, I would have been wondering, did I do everything I could? What if I could have brought her back and I didn't, and I hadn't tried? What if there had been a chance? I would have tortured myself with that. So hearing that she had been gone a long time, and that'll give me peace, And eventually the funeral home came to get her. And, you guys, once again, those of you who've been through this, which is probably a lot of you, they come in with that gurney, and when they come in, it kind of looks like the gurney from an ambulance, and so it doesn't look too full imposing, except for that big zip-up bag that's on it. That's different. That's different. And got my dad out of the room by that point, because I kind of thought that there were some things that he probably shouldn't have to take forever. And watching them put Mom on that gurney was one of those things. So we got him out to the living room, got him sitting down. And he was trying his level best not to look at the bedroom. He did. He was trying so hard not to look. Because, I'd asked him, Dad, just don't watch this. This is not something you need to see. Don't watch. Don't look. Just don't look. And he tried, but when they were coming out of the room, there was this clatter, one loud clatter, and people look at loud things, and so he looked. And he saw that previously empty bag. Not empty anymore, but still zipped up. And his expression was lost, just lost. And I couldn't protect him from seeing that. And I tried, but I couldn't protect him from that. But he didn't get up to follow, which I'm glad. But I didn't want to see that gurney, but I followed them outside. And I watched them load her up. Because I had to see her on her way home. I felt you deserved that. So there was that. There was that day. Now, I do have a couple blessings in this. A few, obviously, because I had her mother. And my last words to her had been good, had been real good. I go in every evening, and before I would go to bed and check on them, make sure, see if they needed anything. And so it's my regular thing, hey Mom, you all set? You need anything? And she's like, no, as always, no, we're good. And that day she had fallen, so I had to pick her up, and I've been I've been having my own other health stuff. I don't know what's going on yet, and so didn't have a lot of strength. But it's kind of the only game in town to get her picked up. So I did get her picked up and got her over to the love seat. But so when I went to check on her, of course, her being her, she was all, "Carla, are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, Mom, I'm fine. And you're going to tell the doctor on Tuesday that you fell, right?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'll tell him." And, "Are you okay, Mom? Do we need to go to the hospital right now? Are you okay?" And she's like, "No, I'm okay." And so then she said, "I love you," and got to tell her I loved her too. And good night. I'm lucky I got that. I know I am. I know I'm real lucky I got that. And I'm lucky that I know she must have gone quick. I don't think it was a heart attack because she looked so peaceful. So she didn't have any pain. She didn't know it was coming, so she didn't have to be afraid. And I think that's good. My mom's the kind of person who will obsess on a worry and just not let it go. And so maybe, someone knew what they were doing, because if she had known she was at the end of time, she would have worried about that incessantly. And she would have feared that so much. She really would have been so afraid. So she never had to be afraid. And I'm grateful for that. I'm trying to look for the blessings. And as you guys all know, there's a lot of mourning that goes on. But life, we're engineered to continue. We are. And life does go on. And of course, and that's what we kind of started doing, even that day, although, it just hit that, couldn't believe it. But, yeah. So anyway, that's how that was. So now, if any of you would like to talk about things, go ahead. And I'm sorry if this is a very serious video. I kind of need to get it out. I guess that's selfish, and I'm sorry. So anyway, thank you, and I'm out of here. So goodbye.